Hello, friends. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Thank you so much for coming back if you've been here before. If this is your first time, I do pick a card readings. Every single Sunday, there's a new video, and today's pick a card reading is going to be your first or next date with your future spouse. So we're going to have fun with this one. We are going to be getting into a lot of information. I will be doing a reading breakdown, so stay tuned for that. But we have 3 piles today. Pile number 1 is the Lover's card from the Light Seer's Tarot deck. Pile number 2 is the Lover's card from the Addams family tarot deck, and this is exclusively a major arcana deck. I want to mention that in case somebody is curious. And pile number 3 is the Lover's card from the Taylor Swift Eras Tour tarot deck. So pause the video if you need to ask yourself which pile, or maybe piles, have a message for you, and let's talk about what you can expect in this reading. All right, so for this reading, we are going to be getting as much information as possible, and the topic is going to be, what will your first or next date with your future spouse be? And we are going to kick the reading off by looking at who you are. We're going to look at who your future spouse and this person that you're going to be on this date is. We are going to look at the setting. So where does the date happen? What's the atmosphere? I'm going to get as much information as possible. Then we're going to look at your first impression. What are you going to notice or feel? And we're going to look at your date's first impression. What will they notice or feel? We're going to look at the mood. So what's the overall vibe of the date? We're going to move into the conversation. What will you talk about or connect over? Emotional undercurrent. So what's building underneath the surface? What's going on during this date that cannot be seen? We're going to look at a memorable moment from this date. So what's the one special thing that you'll remember? What's going to be that memory that you hold on to? We're going to move into what's a potential challenge or awkward moment that can happen, because life is not 100% perfect and it's good to be prepared. Then we're going to get into just what you are going to be feeling at the end of the date. And we're going to end it with just some additional cards that can serve as advice for you. And for this reading, I will be having some date idea dice that we are going to roll and get some information as to what could be possible for this date in addition to the tarot cards. So if this sounds like something that you are interested in, stick around. If this is where you leave me, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to talk to you soon. But let's get started. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you are drawn to the Lover's tarot card. I'm going to place that right over there, if it'll stay. Yes, it did. So as a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown at the beginning, which is time-stamped below. I highly suggest that you check that out. That way you know the spread I'm going to be using and exactly what is going to be answered during this reading, and you'll know if it's something that is in alignment with what you are looking for. But to get started, we are going to start by looking at who you are and who your future spouse that you're going to be going on this date is. And for this reading, my intention is that my viewer is on the left and your future spouse is on the right. That being said, sometimes the energies can get flip-flopped, so you can be here and your future spouse can be here. And also sometimes what you'll find is that you resonate a little bit with both of the people being described, because sometimes, most of the times actually, I would say, we tend to mirror the people that we are in a connection with. So if that happens, that's completely okay. But if this doesn't sound like you and this doesn't sound like you, I highly suggest that you check out a different pile. Or it could just be that this reading doesn't have a message for you, which is okay. But let's get started with person number 1. Ew, the deer. That's very sweet energy. Whale. And manifest. Wow. Okay. pile number one. Who are you? Very heavy heart chakra here. All right, let's see who your person is. We have the hawk. We have the eagle. This person said, I am who I am. Very similar energies here. And decision. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're going to start by talking about the deer person, then we'll move into the hawk person. So before we get started, I'll mention the zodiac signs. For the deer, we have earth energy represented, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. For the whale, we have water energy represented, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. With manifest, I would say that is fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. That being said, if you are not one of those signs, that does not mean that this is not your reading. Take it as extra confirmation if you are one of those signs, and we'll talk about the hawk person shortly. So, who is my deer person? Because, first and foremost, this is very powerful energy, and it's also very loving and kind energy. So, this deer person is somebody who is very compassionate, and I also really believe that this is somebody who has a good balance between their divine masculine and divine feminine energies, and we all have both energies. But I also think that this deer person really operates and feels comfortable within the divine feminine. And that when this deer person is in a place of receptivity, life just flows for them. So this is somebody that, as long as they are receptive, as long as they are flowing, as long as they are allowing life to flow in the way that it wants to. And that doesn't mean that you're not responding or that you're not dealing with what comes up, but it means relinquishing control and trusting. I feel like that's when this deer person is in a place of manifestation, where things manifest rather easily and things just kind of work out for them. But this deer person is somebody who is very loving, very intuitive, and very nurturing. This is also somebody who is very gentle. I would not be surprised if there's something about this deer person that when you look at them physically, there's something very feminine about this person. Even if this is a man, I feel like there's something that is very graceful, something that is very much connected to the divine feminine within this person. I would not be surprised if this deer person has like a Taurus or Libra rising, or some very significant Venus placements in their natal chart. This deer person is someone who can struggle with anxiety, overthinking, worrying at times. But this deer person is also somebody who is very connected to the divine, connected to higher self, and connected to spirit as a whole. This deer person is someone who really loves other people, especially their loved ones, right? Like, if you have a connection with this deer person, or if you are the deer person and you have friendships and relationships, you do whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that other person is taken care of. You are the friend that can be called late at night. You are the friend that people can lean on. You are the friend that would take off your shirt right off of your back to give to someone else. Now, this deer person is also someone who is very good at reading energy and people as a whole. I would not be surprised if this is like somebody who's very clairsentient, or at the very least, somebody who knows how to really read energy, read the room, and really pick up on what's not being said. This is somebody who is very good at reading people's energies. And if you are the deer person, it could just be like, somebody is not trustworthy. Something is up with someone. When it's time to walk away, or when it's time to protect your energy from someone. And I think that that's something that's taken the deer person a bit of time to become comfortable in, because I do think there's been a level of, am I being too harsh? Or am I making this up? And One thing about the deer person is that the more comfortable this deer person becomes with their intuition and their psychic and intuitive gifts, the more easily life seems to flow for them. So, again, that energy of going with the flow and allowing things to unfold naturally instead of feeling like I have to force it, I have to create it, I have to control it is very, very important. Also, something that is also very important for this deer person is to practice kindness towards self, because I think that this is somebody who's very good when it comes to being kind and compassionate towards others, but when it comes to the self, this is somebody who can be very self-critical at times, and I think that's a big lesson that the deer person is here to learn. But another thing about this deer person with this whale card being here is that this deer person can absolutely go deep. This is someone who really enjoys exploring different ideas, new ideas. I would not be surprised if this person has almost like a interest in history, or like maybe it's like Pompeii or Atlantis or like mythology. There's something here. Like there may be an interest that this deer person has that's very much about like diving deep, or this could just be somebody who, like, once they go down that rabbit hole, right, they kind of get really lost because they really enjoy learning, they enjoy exploring, they enjoy just experiencing and kind of getting to the bottom of things. But another thing that's really beautiful about this deer person is the sense of calm, the sense of just gentleness that they carry within them. This is somebody that is very good at making others feel comfortable and feel at home in their presence. And I will also say that there's something very grounded about the deer person and their aura. Even when this person is struggling to feel grounded, their essence feels like comes across as very grounded, very present in the present moment. This deer person is somebody who is very strong, very courageous, even though I don't think this is somebody who would describe themselves as courageous all of the time. But just a reminder, pile number one, being courageous is not having fear. It's doing the thing in spite of the fear, in spite of like those nerves. And I think the deer person is very good at getting to the other side of that. This deer person, there's something about the voice that could be very beautiful, very soothing, or it's the words that this person uses that's very soothing, very beautiful, very calming. This could be somebody that either sings or plays an instrument, or this could be somebody that really connects to music as a way or form of healing. This person could be someone who's very attracted to water. I will say for my deer person, if you are the deer and you're watching this, make sure that you are drinking enough water and that you are listening to your body, especially when it comes to like the beverages that you are drinking and how they make you feel, how they make you um, kind of go about your day, and listening to your body in general about your needs and about what you are consuming and um, how that makes you feel and now how that affects you in general. But one thing about the deer person is this is somebody who operates from their heart chakra and somebody who is very soothing, very calming, and overall somebody who can be a light in in the darkness, right? But also a light in a world that is not always so bright, right? That's what this deer person is. And when it comes to manifesting, again, this is somebody who can manifest rather easily as long as they are allowing themselves to go with the flow and be present in the present moment and surrender to what is happening and what is meant for you. If you are the deer person, the more you try to control and like twist it or like pretend things aren't what they are, the harder it's going to be for you to manifest. But the more gentle, the more you connect to the divine feminine and to receptivity, the more things flow for you. But let's talk about the hawk person, because we have the hawk and the eagle. And while these two are very different animals, they're also very similar. So let's talk about the zodiac signs before we get into the actual reading. With the zodiac signs, we have the hawk and the eagle represented by air energy, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We also have the decision card, which I honestly would say it's air energy. So we basically have all air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius happening over here. I could see decision being an earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, but a lot of air energy here. So who is this hawk person? First and foremost, I think one thing that these two have in common is that they are very intuitive and they are very plugged into spirit. However, I will also say that there's a difference about how these two operate, because this deer person operates best and is more comfortable and more in their nature to operate under the divine feminine, where I feel like the hawk person is more comfortable and more in their nature when they are operating under the divine masculine. And with the hawk and the eagle being here, this is somebody who is very aware. This is also somebody who is very aware of their surroundings. Like, let's say you are going out with this hawk person or you're spending time with them, they are so aware of the people that are around them, what's going on. They're very hyper focused on everything around them, and they're very good at picking up energies as well, because they are able to kind of hone in on what's going on around them at all times. This is somebody who has um a very good head on their shoulders, but this is also somebody who is very good at looking at things from different perspectives without letting their biases get in the way. This hawk person is someone who is really able to look at what can go right, what can go wrong, what's the possibility, what's more likely. And this hawk person is very good at reading the energies. And I will say, this is somebody who also, just like the deer person, has a very spiritual connection. And I'm not sure that the hawk person necessarily knows how deep their connection to spirit is, but it's almost like they have this luck, and it's not really luck, but I think from the outside looking in, you could describe it as like they're so lucky, things just work for them. And it's because they are able to trust themselves and go with the flow and allow themselves to be guided where they're meant to go. But again, I don't necessarily think that this person may be aware that this is a spiritual gift. I don't think this person may be aware of exactly how the workings, like how it all works out. But they are very plugged in. And this is somebody who is very good at redirecting and course correcting when they need to. So this isn't somebody who's stubborn at all. This isn't somebody who's stuck in their ways. This is somebody who's actually very open and very much always seeking ways to not only self-improve, but improve in general. And I think that this hawk person is somebody who's also very honest, though they may be a bit blunt at times, but I am getting a lot of honesty here. And one thing that I think both of these two are going to deal with and kind of deal with individually is they like to kind of know exactly how things are going to turn out. And sometimes it takes a little bit of effort to just take a step back and allow things to happen and allow things to flow in the way that they want to flow. But this hawk person is constantly going through transformation. And this is somebody who has a big purpose in this lifetime. It feels like throughout their past lives, they've learned a lot of lessons. And this is a lifetime where they're going to meet this bigger purpose. They are on course to kind of reach this bigger, higher than themselves purpose, goal achievement. So this does feel like somebody who really enjoys working and enjoys kind of doing what they need to do, a lot of responsibility here. And one thing about this hawk person is they're very strong. They're very strong and they're very dependable. And I think at times the hawk person may struggle with decisions because they can see so many different outcomes. But I also think that as time goes by, as this person ages, as this person matures, they become very good at choosing and knowing what's right for them and sticking to their choices. This is somebody who is also very powerful. This person operates from the heart chakra. This person operates from the sacral chakra. Obviously, they use the other chakras as well, but those are like the main chakras for both of these people. But let's get into the date, what we are here for. So, we're going to start by looking at the setting. Like, where does this happen? What's the atmosphere? Let's see what we get here. Three of Wands. Okay. Page of Wands. And then we have Six of Wands. Whew. A lot of Wands energy, so a lot of fire energy. So, first and foremost, when it comes to this date, and I want to just make it clear, obviously, a lot of different people watching, so take the messages that resonate and apply it to your situation. But when it comes to your first date with your future spouse or your next date with your future spouse, the energy here is there's going to be a level of excitement. I do feel for this date, this feels like a let's go out and do something. Let's go out and explore. Let's go out and try something new. This to me doesn't feel like let's just go out to a movie and like dinner in a movie. This feels more like let's go, like maybe it's mini golfing. Maybe it's let's go like play a sport. Let's go to the beach for some of you. For others of you, this is going to be outdoors. So, like, let's go. I don't know why I keep saying lavender picking. Keeps coming to mind, but lavender picking or like let's go pick some flowers, some fruit. This feels very action oriented. There is an activity here. So, yes, you may also go get a meal because I do think that is quite possible. But I also think there's a level of stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something exciting together. This could be one of you introducing the other to something that you are already into. Or this is just like, let's go out together and find something completely new to do together. So there's an activity here. As I said, like mini golfing, this could be like, let's go do something where it's active. Let's go for a hike. I'm not really getting hike if I'm honest. Because I'm kind of getting like, we're going to be cute, but we're going to do something that is going to require like some level of movement. For some of you, it could be bowling. For others of you, this could be like a day at the beach or a day by water. This could be like, let's go to an amusement park. Let's go to a carnival. Let's go. For some of you, this is a date at like a historical site where you are sightseeing. It could be a museum. It could be, there's walking, there's movement, there's like, we're doing things. And I also feel, pile number one, for you, this date is not going to be a short event. It feels like it's like a few hours to like half a day, maybe all day we're spending together. And there's multiple things that are being done. So it's not just we're going to go and do the one thing and then we're done. It's like we did the one thing, now let's keep going. For some of you, amusement park is really coming up as like something kind of very similar, or maybe like a farmer's market, or for some of you, there's going to be stores that you are going to be hitting up. And this could be just we're doing some things and then we're going to a restaurant afterwards, because I do feel like there's going to be food here. But this feels like something very new for both of you. Wherever it is that you end up, it feels like that it's very new for both of you. and it feels like there's talking. Like you guys plan this date out. This doesn't feel like it's a blind date and you're meeting and you're just going. So, like it feels like we've gotten to know each other. We've talked a little bit and we kind of have an idea of, even if it's just right before this date, we're going to get on the phone and talk about what we could do. But it's like, let's be adventurous. Like, this is kind of, let's go skydiving for the first date, or like, let's go skiing. I feel like for most of you, though, this is going to be more of like spring, summer, or like the climate itself is going to be more, it's not going to be very cold, but take that as it resonates. But there's an activity here. That's the thing. There's an activity here. Um, Pile number one. Let's take a look at what your first impression is going to be. And then we're going to look at their first impression. So, your first impression, we have the Fool card, the Nine of Pentacles. Okay. The Magician. Okay. And actually, let's look at their first impression as well. And then I'll tell you what's going on. So, their first impression, the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, that's similar. The World card. I love that. That's sweet. I just got a message. And the Star card. Okay. So, your first impression of them, and this is just, what are you going to notice? What are you going to feel? Your first impression of them on this first date or this next date, for those of you that already know who this person is. First and foremost, it feels like there's so much excitement here, and I think it's on both sides, but especially on your side, pile number one. I think there's a level of excitement and just being ready to do something different and being ready to kind of go on this adventure, because I do feel like whatever this date is, like whatever the activity is, whatever it is that you're going to do, again, different things for different people, but there's this level of like fun and excitement to it. We're going to do something exciting. And I also think that it's like, I feel lucky. I feel excited to be here. And I feel the potential for more here. It's like, I'm excited. I do think you're going to be attracted to this person, right? We have the Nine of Pentacles, we have the Magician. So the attraction is there, the physical attraction is there. But it's also the excitement of, I wonder what this is going to lead up to. I wonder what we can create together. And I'm just excited to see where it's going to go. And I think for my pile number ones, there's a level of just comfortable, like knowing this is where I'm supposed to be. So if you're nervous leading up to meeting or leading up to this first date or this next date, like you get there, your first impression when you see them as you get to the date or as they pick you up, however that works for you, or you pick them up, whatever the case is, it's like, okay, I feel comfortable. I feel grounded. Like there's this excitement, but I feel like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And I feel like I'm comfortable. I can kind of feel comfortable with this person and in this situation. But again, that excitement, that like I'm taking a leap, I'm taking a chance, and I'm ready to see where this goes. And then when it comes to their impression of you, I love this because we have the Nine of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles, which are similar energies in some ways. And I think this Knight of Pentacles is just, first and foremost, again, you're both attracted to one another. So there's that attraction is there. Like you are both looking good, you are both smelling good, you are both like, the attraction is there, the chemistry is there, the passion is there. But this is also like the World card and the Star card being here as to their first impression of you is just like, you are blowing their mind. You are like, they are starstruck. They are like, wow. I think there's a level of speechlessness to this. And I think that your person is also going to want to make sure that they're kind of keeping themselves grounded. I do think they're also feeling nervous, but I think that they're able to kind of hide it and not show you how nervous they are. But it is this like, wow, like speechless excitement, but also like you are their shining star. you are their world, and they're very excited to see where this goes. For those of you that this is going to be like a first date, and for those of you where this is a next date, right, where you already know who this person is, like your next date is just almost cementing like this is my person, and I can see myself like growing old with this person. And I think even if this is your first date, there is that level of like I can see myself growing old with this person. Like I can see the potential here. Obviously, we have to see where it goes, but I think there is that recognition of like the beauty's here, the attraction is here, and I can just see myself building something with this person and that excitement to see what's next. Um I will say I think you, pile number one, like my viewer, may be a bit more in your head than your person. Like I think at times you're gonna kind of be overthinking, or at least like trying to make sure that you're doing the right thing. And I just also want to say there is no such thing as the right or wrong thing, because the connection is here. And if it's your person, it's your person, right? Like they're going to love you the way that you are. I want to see what the mood is. So, what's the overall vibe of this date? Wow. Okay. Okay. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Okay. We have the sun and the chariot. First and foremost, fun, excitement. We're doing things, we're having a good time. This doesn't feel like a super serious date. So, for those of you where this is a first date, it makes sense because I don't think, I mean, different things for different people, but personally, I don't think many people want like a super serious, heavy first date. This feels fun and lighthearted, and it just feels like we're having a good time. Things are flowing. There's excitement. There's laughter. There's just like let's do all the things and have all the fun and like laugh together, talk and move forward and figure out where this is going. So this feels very lighthearted. It feels like a good time. And I think for those of you where you already know this person and this is a next date, this is like a very fun date. So this isn't like we had a fight and we have to go out and we have to fix it and we have to talk about these heavy things, or we have to plan out heavy topics or anything like that. This feels like very fun. Let's have a good time. It's time to decompress and let's be fully present in the present moment. One thing that's coming up here, pile number one, regardless of your situation, whether you this is a first date or a next date, is that there's two people that are being fully present in the present moment and having a good time and allowing themselves to kind of be carried away in the moment. This doesn't feel like we're going to have our phones out, we're going to be playing on our phones, we're going to be worried about X, Y, and Z. This is like, I'm focused on you. You are focused on me. We have carved out this date for ourselves so that we can connect. For some of you, this may even be like a vacation. So if this is like a next date, this could be you two traveling to a location and having like a little getaway together or a little vacation. But regardless of what this is, the overall mood, the overall vibe is very lighthearted. It's also very intentional. This is when we talk about intentional dating, I feel like this is what's coming up for this group, where it's like, yes, we're here, we're having a good time, we're in the moment, but I think that there's a level of when you both plan this date or as you are on this date, there's a realization like this is not just a one and done. This isn't something I'm going to sit through and then I'm going to walk away and I'm just going to regret this date, or I may never see this person again. There's almost like this, I feel like this is right and I know I'm going to see this person again, and this feels like the beginning of the rest of my life, or at least the beginning of something new and something that has potential. For some of you, this is coming through. There may be ice cream. Like we're going to go get ice cream. We're going to go get, yeah, it could be like water ice. I'm from Philly. Listen, water ice all day long. But ice cream, some sort of sorbet, some sort of gelato, something along those lines. You get the point. Dessert, if you will. Um, is coming up here because I'm also seeing a cupcake. I think this is also speaking to the sweetness of the date, where we're present, we're here, we're having a good time, we're enjoying each other's company. I feel like there's going to be a lot of laughter too. Again, this feels like an activity date. We're doing something. Yes, we may go eat afterwards. Yes, there may be food involved. There may be drinks involved, but there's also something else where we are both moving our bodies and kind of doing something that is fun and exciting for both. Let's take a look at the conversation. So, what are you going to talk about, or what will you connect over? The Empress. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. King of Pentacles. Okay. So, we have the Empress, Four of Wands, and King of Pentacles. So, as far as conversation, I do think this is going to be a date. And I know I just said I don't feel this is a super serious date, but I do think during this date, you will get the basics out of the way. And what do I mean by the basics? Like, what are you looking for? Do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? What's your idea of a healthy relationship? Like, you are going through those conversations of like truly getting to know one another. And I do feel like you are deeply getting to know one another. So it's not just we're going to keep it surface level and we're just going to talk about whatever. This is, we're going to talk about each other, where we are at, how we got here, what makes us who we are today, our dreams, our desires, our fears. But it also feels like this happens very naturally and it doesn't feel heavy. So it's like we're hitting all the topics, but we're not sitting at dinner in an interview way where I'm like just asking you the questions and you're asking me the questions and it feels like an interview or it feels super serious. It's like we're doing our thing, we're having a good time, and we're talking. And as we talk, it's conversation flowing. So, oh, you told me about this. This reminds me of when I was a kid, or this reminds me of what I want to do, or this reminds me of X, Y, and Z, or like this is what I do for work. And then it just keeps kind of unraveling. And I will say, I think for this group, pile number one, for some of you, this was not supposed to be a long date. So, like, this could be somebody that you meet, especially for those of you where this is a first date. This could be somebody that you meet and you go for like coffee, and then it's like, I really like you. Or like you meet and you were going for drinks, and it's like, I really like you. Or we meet and we do go for that event. Like, let's go mini golfing, or like, let's go bowling, or whatever you want to do together. And then it turns into, okay, it's been like a few hours and we're here and I'm really liking this. How about we take this somewhere else? How about we take this somewhere else? This is kind of like one of those dates where I do think there's a big potential for this date to like continuously expand and grow and just turn into more and more time together, where you are both like, just, I don't want to leave you, I just want to keep having a good time. Like, let's go for a walk, let's go to the other bar, or let's go to the other restaurant. Like, this feels like we may need more than one meal because we're going to spend so much time together. And a lot of that does feel like there's movement and there's having fun, but it doesn't feel constricted. It doesn't feel like, we're going to go do this and it's more about the sport or it's more about the thing that we're doing. It's like we're just having fun. For somebody here, there may be a like a paint class, or like ceramic class, or it could just be oh my god, what are those called? Like painting with a twist. That could be a thing that happens here. For some reason, that's coming through. I'm also seeing like cake decorating. It feels very active. Whatever it is for this group, it's gonna be very active in nature. Let's take a look at what's building underneath. So, the emotional kind of undercurrent, what's happening here during this date. Because we looked at the first impressions, we're going to look at during the date. The Nine of Swords, okay. The Three of Swords, very interesting. Ace of Pentacles. Pile number one. Don't let these cards scare you, because what I think is happening undercurrents, right? Like what's happening underneath the surface. To have the Nine of Swords, the Three of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles, I think for some of you, two messages for two different groups. For those of you where this is a first date, I think there is a level of, and I got this earlier, I think I mentioned it, like a little bit of nerves, a little bit of like fear coming up, just putting yourself out there. I do think when you meet this person, for some of you, you meet this person after you've been through some stuff. I was going to say some SHIT, some stuff, pile number one, in dating and in love. So there is this undercurrent of like fear, but I don't think it's going to be super prevalent for most of you where it's just like, I don't want to get hurt. Okay, I'm here. I don't want to get hurt. Some of you may be questioning, like, is this real? You know, when you're like connecting with somebody and it almost feels like too good to be true. For some of you, that's going to be playing out. I will say, this reading is supposed to be about your future spouse, and I'm not getting any red flags here, but completely valid if you are looking at somebody and it's like, you're too good to be true. And obviously listen to your intuition, but I think that can be coming from a place of fear, especially in this case. But I also think there's hope here, right? Because we have that Nine of Swords, which is like that anxiety, that like overthinking, worrying, illusions. The Three of Swords is a level of like heartbreak. And I think this Three of Swords is really speaking to, I don't want to get my heart broken. I don't want to kind of struggle through heartbreak. I want to connect, but I also, again, I've been through some things. Because I do think, especially if you are the dear person, you are somebody who opens your heart and lets people in. And I think that at times that may have gotten you hurt. But this Ace of Pentacles is also here, which is speaking to, I also have hope. This is a new beginning. So for those of you that do know who this is, right? Because I think this message more applies to you, where this is a next date and you know who this is. Maybe there has been some things that have been going on, and this is a date where it's let's reconnect. Let's respark this. Let's rekindle this. Let's bring this back together. And for some of you, this could be a date where it's a next date, but it's also a next date after a separation period where there can be like almost like this doubt of, do I want to go down this road again? I don't want to get hurt again. Those things can kind of be playing underneath the surface. But as far as the date itself, I'm not getting anything so far as to why this would come up. But let's move into what's going to be the memorable moment. So one special thing that you'll remember. Let's look at what comes up for this. The Six of Swords. Judgment card. Pile number one. This is very interesting. So it's going to be different messages, different people. Take the one that resonates for you. I think for some of you, what's memorable from this date, whether it's a first date or it's a next date, whatever you fall on, I think what's going to be memorable is that there's almost this realization that this is a transition period. This is me moving on to the next leg of my journey. This is like a significant date, and this is a significant event because I'm moving forward and I'm moving to the next level. It's almost like I don't know exactly how this is going to play out, but I know this is a significant event. I know this is a significant date. So this feels like it's memorable because for some of you, when you look back, I think if not all of you, to be honest, when you look back, this is a date that you'll remember. It's either like, this was my first date with your father or with like my spouse, and I'm telling future generations about it, or even I'm just recalling this moment that we had together of like, that's when I knew. That's when I knew you were my person. That's when you knew I was your person. So there's something very memorable about like, my life will never be the same that I think is going to come up for you, pile number one. And I would say for your person as well. For others of you, this is also speaking to, especially for those of you where you know this person and there's like some sort of reconnection happening, this is coming through as like again, that transition period. But I think that if you've been having issues, this date is the transition where those issues, obviously we're humans, we're going to have conflicts, we're going to have, things that come up in relationships. But I think it's a real like changing point, like a turning point in the connection itself. So very similar to the first message. And for others of you, this is also speaking to almost like this spiritual knowledge of this date was very significant and is very significant in my life. Like spiritually speaking, I feel changed. I feel like this is something that is part of my blueprint, part of what I am here to experience. So it actually feels very significant internally. But I also think that when you look back at this moment, what's also going to be memorable is the conversations and the time you spend together. But I think the conversations, especially, are going to be very memorable. Like, yeah, that was great. We did that thing or we did that activity. But more so, we were able to talk and get to know each other. And that's the moment that I knew. This is actually very sweet. Let's look at the potential challenge or awkwardness, right? Because not everything is perfect. So let's talk. We're going to talk about everything. Yeah, the Ten of Swords. Queen of Swords. Yeah, I think there's going to be some overthinking at first. Like, I think for my pile number ones, especially for my viewer, there's a level of something that can be a little bit of a challenge or something that can be a bit awkward is going to be just this like being fully present in the present moment. And I think this is more for some of you about even getting to the date where it's like allowing yourself to go for the date, allowing yourself to say yes, allowing yourself to be vulnerable and to show up. Like for some of you, it could be like, I've been invited, I really like this person, I want to go, but also I'm having cold feet or I don't want to get hurt. So there may be like this almost desire to kind of stay or cancel or reschedule. I hope you remember this video, but do not reschedule, do not cancel, move forward with it. And there can be just like some overthinking, over analyzing, but I think this is like before the date or at the very beginning, because I feel like part of what's going to happen is there's like almost this instant, okay, all right, like the initial jitters are gone. I feel comfortable. I can be present. I think I made the right decision. I'm here. Let's take a look at feeling at the end of the date, right? So at the end of the date, what's coming up here? Page of Wands, excitement again, Five of Cups. Okay, I'm only chuckling because I know what that means. And the Page of Swords. So we have the Page of Wands, Page of Swords, and the Five of Cups. I want to talk about the Five of Cups because the Five of Cups can be one of those cards where typically it can speak to like grief or just missing out or just sadness coming up, disillusionment coming up. It's none of that. At the end of this date, it's you are both sad that this date is ending, especially you, pile number one, because you are my viewer and you are who I am speaking to. But I think it's both of you that there's almost like this sadness of like, oh man, it's coming to an end. It's been such a perfect day. And we've been, together all day or for however long. And I was really enjoying this. So like the sadness that it's over for that moment. But also the Page of Wands, excitement for what's to come. The Page of Swords, right? Looking forward to. This is a date where if this person picks you up, you pick them up. There's a phone call or a text message as soon as like the other person gets home. Where it's like, I got home, I had a great time, how are you? Or there's like a very sweet text of like, I really enjoyed this. There's communication here. There's a lot of hope here. There's a lot of like looking forward and desire to see what's going to be the outcome of future dates. I also think that this is a date where there is a very clear, we're going to see each other again, where you're not unclear about where the other person is at, or if you're going to have an opportunity to see each other again. Like, I feel like this is one of those days where it's, I'm interested. I want to see you again. Let's plan it right now, or let's at least know that we're going to plan the next date. For those of you who know who this person is, I do think it's this Five of Cups for you in that case, if you already know who this is and this is like a next date, especially for those of you that are reconnecting or rekindling. Um, this feels like almost coming to terms and having things come up, but it's that same message of hope, right? Of excitement for what's to come, of knowing this is a brand new beginning and being excited for the next steps. Let's take a look. So, this is going to be a song, and this is just going to be more information for you. Put away the computer. Working less will help strengthen your relationship. Pile number one, this, as far as advice for you, this is speaking to being more present in the present moment. And also for those of you that haven't met your person yet and you're looking for them and you're waiting for them, making sure that you are creating opportunities in your life where this person can come through and connect with you, and that you're not either keeping yourself locked up in your house or keeping yourself only working and taking care of responsibilities, creating opportunities where you can meet someone and creating opportunities where you can also kind of relax and have a good time. For those of you who know who this person is and this is about a next date, I think the advice is pretty clear of just, it's time to reconnect. It's time to kind of connect with one another and figure out exactly what you want to do and prioritize one another as well. And trust. It is safe for you to trust in this situation. Pile number one, regardless of where you are at on the spectrum of whether this is a first date or a next date, you're being called to trust in the process. And we talked about it for both the deer and the hawk, but especially the deer person, and I think most of you will be the deer, where for you, pile number one, being able to trust and go with the flow and surrender and know that the universe has your back is so important. So trusting that this is going to come together, trusting that you will meet your person, that you will connect with one another, that you don't have to force it, you don't have to make it happen, that it make it happen in the sense like it's not up to you alone to just create this. That it's more about being receptive and also responding to the opportunities as they show up, but that you can trust the universe to deliver what you desire to you, to deliver your manifestations to you. Pile number one, I have a song, and then we're going to we're going to kind of play with some dice and figure out what kind of dates you can have. But this song is a song that's a message for you at this time, especially as it relates to this first date or this next date. And we have, Judgment. We already had Judgment card for you. Did we not? Yes, we did. I'm pretty sure we did. And it's the I Want It That Way by Backstreet Boys, a song about reflection, understanding, and coming to terms with one's feelings, mirroring the Judgment card's themes of evaluation and rebirth. So that could be a song that has a message for you at this time, in my opinion. 10 out of 10, one of the best songs. Backstreet Boys over NSYNC any day. But let's pick some dice, and we're then gonna end your reading. But let's kind of talk about what could come up here. So first and foremost, I am going to start with the eat, just to see what could come up. And we have food from a different country. Then we are going to do the kind of share. So this could be like what you could be talking about, what could come up. Share today's highs and lows. Again, this feels like it's going to flow pretty naturally, and you're going to be able to talk to one another about just about anything. And then we are going to do the play. So this could be activities. Do an art project. I did feel that, like painting with a twist, decorating cake, something like that. But let's do another one. dance together. So that could be a different one. Let's look at what else we have. Try a new place. And I think that's the vibe for this group is going to be try a new place and share fond memories. That definitely came through. And we're going to roll the let me do it this way so nobody says I'm cheating. These are just very big and my hands are very small. So this is like a love one. Um, Tune in to touch. So I do think there's going to be hand holding, possibly kissing. If you feel comfortable with that, whatever you feel comfortable with. But I do think this is one of those dates that can end in a kiss. Obviously, if this is not a first date for you, if this is a next date, whatever you're comfortable with is all I'm saying. Pile number one. But pile number one, I am ready for exciting adventures with my partner, is your affirmation. Claim it because this is going to be an adventurous date. And I think it's going to be an adventurous relationship connection with your future spouse. But pile number one, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know what you'd like to see next. Stay tuned for the Bridgerton themed reading, which is coming next. It was already voted on, so that'll be hopefully next week. Share the video if you think it's worth sharing. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number two. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Gomez and Morticia Addams Lovers card. And that is from the Addams tarot deck. It's a major arcana only deck. But what we're here for. So, as a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown at the beginning, which is time-stamped below. I highly, highly suggest you check that out because it's going to tell you exactly what will be covered and the spread that is going to be used for this reading. But to get started, we are going to look at your not current energy. We're looking at who you are and who your future spouse, also this date that you're going on, who this person is. Let's get started. So person number one, oyster, the elk, and then we also have emotion. Okay. And then for person number two, we have the horse. We have the shark. That's quite the energy right there. And we have wisdom. Okay, so pile number two. Let's talk about the zodiac signs before we jump in. And actually, I forgot to mention, my intention that my viewer is going to be on the left and your future spouse, your date, is going to be on the right. That being said, the energies can be flip-flopped, but if you don't identify here or here, it could just be that this is not your pile. Try choosing a different one, and just see if you get something that resonates with you, because if this doesn't resonate, the rest of it probably won't either. But let's get started. So for the oyster person, when it comes to the zodiac signs, we have water energy, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. For the elk, we have earth energy, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And with emotion, we have some more water energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And we'll talk about the horse person when we get there, but I want to start with the oyster. So who is this oyster person? This is somebody who is very, I almost want to say very patient, very demure. But that's the energy that the oyster person comes through with. This is somebody who's very gentle. This is also somebody who is very self-protected. I do feel that the oyster person has a lot of strong emotions, and the oyster person really desires deep connection. But I also think that this oyster person has been through some things that has led them to kind of protect themselves and their heart. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I do think that the oyster is at times not quite willing to let just anyone into their space, especially when it comes to their heart. Like they're very protective of their heart and themselves. And one thing about this oyster person is that this is somebody who is very determined, very courageous, very strong, very patient. Like when the oyster person wants something, they will stop at nothing until they get that thing, until they manifest that thing. And they're very determined. So whenever it is that they want something or they want to create something or they want to experience something, they can lock in. And this is somebody who is very focused, very intentional. And this is also somebody who is just not going to give up, right? And one thing about the oyster person is that I think from the outside looking in, they can sometimes be described as like, man, the oyster person, like everything they want, they get. But I don't think people realize just how much effort goes into the oyster person's endeavors. Like, I don't think people realize how much work and effort it takes for the oyster person to get what they have, where at times it can come across as like they're just lucky. They're very lucky, or things are just work out for them. But that's not the case at all. And at times I think the oyster person can kind of close themselves off. This could be somebody who is shy, definitely introverted energy coming up here for this oyster person. But this is also somebody who has a very rich inner world. I would not be surprised if this person is very creative or they have a very active imagination. But the inner world is very active and very rich. And I think that the oyster person, it takes them a while to open up to someone. But once they do, it's like the connection is going to last a lifetime. Like the friendships that exist or the people that this oyster person connects with, those are relationships and connections that are going to last a very long time because they value their relationships and their friendships. Um and I think part of what the oyster person is here to learn and to explore more of is how to be more vulnerable and how to be more open without having the fear that it's going to be used against them. Because this oyster person has a lot to share and a lot to bring to the world. And at times they keep themselves kind of separated and kind of just away from certain opportunities that would benefit them greatly. And the thing is about the oyster is that this is somebody who is very kind, very supportive, very compassionate. But when it comes to self, sometimes that energy becomes harsher and more critical of self. I also think that with this oyster person, they can be very resilient. So at times they take on more than they should, or they take on things that aren't even theirs to carry. And I think the oyster person has also taken on things for a lot longer than they needed to. Meaning, like, for example, if something happens and it's no longer happening, they may carry the emotional weight of that. Or they may carry this is a person where they may carry like a lot of weight on their neck and shoulder, where they may experience like tension headaches. They may experience like neck pain, shoulder pain, upper back pain when they are stressed out. And it's part of like the things that they carry and the things that they hold on to. And I think there's a realization here that happens for the oyster person at some point in life. And if you are the oyster, it could be that this has already happened. But this realization feels like the knowledge that I get to choose what I carry. I get to choose what I give my time and energy to. And I get to ground myself in the present moment and release anything and everything that is not in alignment with me. But this oyster person is very much respected and admired in their community, in their workplace, in their like friend group. This is somebody that you would go to when you want to talk to someone. This is somebody whose advice would be very trusted and very appreciated. This elk person is also somebody that, regardless of age, they carry like a wise woman, wise man, mature, old soul vibe to them. And it's something that they've probably always had. Like, even when they were younger, this feels like somebody who would feel like wise beyond their years and somebody who would feel very grounded, especially when they are younger. And one thing about this oyster person is that they're very clear about what their values, ethics, morals are, and they are always acting from a place of integrity. This is not somebody who's going to do something that's outside of their character or outside of their belief system just because it's easy or just because they're being called to do something, even if it's beneficial to them. This is somebody who would be very good in a relationship, like not only platonic or romantic. This is somebody who's very good in a relationship. This person would make a great mother, great father, a great parent. At times, the elk being here, this could really speak to kind of like headstrong energy. For some, it could be that you have like Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, especially like Capricorn, like moon or rising is what's coming through here. But if you're the oyster, you feel things incredibly deeply. Now let's jump to the horse. So, when it comes to the zodiac signs with the horse, what we have here is earth energy. So, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn represented. With the shark, we have water energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And with wisdom, we have this could be earth or air, depending on which way you look at it. I would absolutely, for wisdom, say earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, but it is the owl there, and wisdom can definitely be a air thing. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And if you're not one of those signs, it's completely okay. It doesn't mean that the message is not for you. Take it as extra confirmation. But who this horse person is somebody who is constantly on the go. I do think the horse and the oyster person have a lot in common, but I also feel like this is kind of the case of opposites attract, because I think that when the oyster operates where the horse person has blind spots and vice versa. And I think when these two connect with one another, they are going to bring out the best in one another, but they're also going to challenge one another to grow. But when it comes to the horse person, this is somebody who is very focused on their goals, their desires, and the tangible world. I feel like the oyster person has an inner, like a very rich inner world, whereas the horse person is very much focused on the energy outside of themselves, what they're manifesting, what they're working on, what they are moving towards. The horse person has a long list of things to do and of things to accomplish that they are constantly trying to chip away at. And this is somebody who is very much very instinctual. And this is somebody who has a clear vision of what they want for themselves and their own future. So they have a lot of momentum that they are able to build, and they're kind of constantly going. This feels like an extroverted energy that is constantly go, 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 doing and accomplishing what it is that they want and desire. And I also think that the horse person really values their freedom And they're always looking for ways that they can experience life and go on adventures and be spontaneous. Like, I think adventure and spontaneity is very important to this horse person. And I think they're always looking to try something new and to almost like check things off of their list of to do. For this horse person, they never give up. This is not somebody who, when the going gets tough, they walk away. They are actually even more motivated in the face of adversity than they would be at any other time to kind of get and do what they are being called to do. This horse person is somebody who probably works out. I really do think for most of you, this horse person is going to be somebody who works out, somebody who keeps up with their physical appearance, also somebody who keeps up with their self care, and not only self care, but with making sure that they are healthy, they are feeling good, and they are taking care of their body. And I also think that this is somebody who they have a lot of stamina. Like, this horse person has a lot of stamina. I'm actually exhausted just thinking about how much this person does. But they have a lot of stamina, and they're also um very much the type of person to deal with things head on. This isn't somebody who's going to kind of skirt around an issue, or this isn't somebody who's going to put something off. This person does not procrastinate. This person goes head on and does what they need to do. And I also think that there's something very mysterious and captivating about this person, which makes them very desirable to other people. And not only in like a dating or like a romantic type of way, but I think that the horse person is really intriguing to most people, to the point where they want to know more, even if it's like platonic or if it's in a work situation. Like, people are captivated by the horse person and they just want to know more. They want to discover more. And they want to get to know who this horse person is. And one thing I will say about the horse person is, at times, I guess I should say, I think this is a person that needs to learn how to understand themselves and their own needs, because I think at times this horse person can kind of ignore their true needs and what their body is asking for in order to continue to move forward and to push forward. But this is somebody who is very good at like sniffing out the truth. This isn't somebody who is easily fooled. But when it comes to honoring their own truth and sitting with themselves and their own truth, it can be hard for this person at times. And one thing that this horse person is here to do in this lifetime is to be authentic and not change who they are in order to be liked or accepted. And I think this is a person where, if you once you meet them, or if you know them, you would be shocked. But I do think there is a part of them that really values what other people think of them and how other people view them. And that can be a driving force at times. But there's a lot of wisdom here. There's a lot of intelligence. There's a lot of like inner knowledge. And I will say both of these have a very strong third eye chakra. All right, pile number 2. Let's get into the setting. So, where does this date happen, or what's like the atmosphere? Ooh, the magician. Okay. Two of Wands. Okay. King of Wands. Okay. Talk about Wands energy, fiery energy. So, pile number 2, and I'm going to use, at the end of the reading, we're going to try to get more information. I'm going to use some dice that I have that have activities and types of food and all the things. So stay tuned for that. But when it comes to the atmosphere and the setting of this date, I do feel obviously it's going to be different things for different people, but I do feel like this is a date where both of you are going to have to come out of your comfort zone and do something different or go somewhere different. For some of you, this is like trying a new restaurant. For others of you, this is trying a new activity. This could be kind of going to a different place. So maybe you go over to a town, like the next town over, a city over, a different neighborhood. It's like we're going somewhere else to kind of try something different, and we're trying something different together. So if you are the type of person that you usually have like a casual date, this feels more formal. If you are a person where you usually meet up on the first date for like coffee or a drink, this feels like you plan something out that's longer. The overall atmosphere for this date is going to be it's comfortable, but it's also uncomfortable in the sense of this isn't like this is the place that I usually go to and I'm just going to go and have dinner there, or I'm going to go and spend some time at the usual place at the usual like type of date that I do. This is bringing you out of your comfort zone. And for many of you, this is going to be something that happens. It could be outdoors. This could also be like, again, out of like the area where you would usually hang out at. So like, let's say you are going for a dinner date. You're not going anywhere that you've been before. You're probably not even going to go in an area that you've been at before. But it feels like very, it feels like it's also good in a way where it's like, oh, okay, we're trying something completely different. For some of you, this will be an activity where this could be like arcade, is what I'm getting for this group. This could also be going somewhere, for some reason, for some of you, a pool. Walking around, this could be something on the more active side. For others of you, this is like going somewhere where there are like plants. This could be a hike for some of you, though I'm not getting that for most of you. Because I think you're dressed to impress. So I don't think, I mean, not to say that you can't dress to impress at a hike, but that's not kind of the like kind of outfit I'm getting. For some of you, you're going to a place where it's like there's a theme to it. That's coming through. So locally, we have a like a bar that's like Harry Potter themed, where you kind of like create your own drinks. For some reason, that's what's coming to mind. I don't think that's like exactly the case for everyone, obviously, but it's like something that's different and exciting and fun. I do feel like this is a nighttime, like an evening date. Like it's nighttime, it's later in the evening, something along those lines. I also think for some of you, you're going to be walking through, like going to different places, like you park. It doesn't feel like you walk there, but like you park and there's like, it's like a strip. Somebody could be going to a casino, different things, but it feels, for most of you, it's more than one place, it's more than one thing that you're doing. Some of you are going dancing. That's coming through. Some of you are going to like either dancing, it could be a club, it could be like a dance class together. That's coming through. Let's go into this. So we're going to look at your first impression. And with your first impression, we are looking at what will you notice or feel. First, we have the 6 of Cups. That's really sweet because that's a soulmate card. Then we have the Ten of Pentacles. Okay. And then we have the King of Wands. Let's see what their first impression is going to be, and then we'll talk about the cards. Strength. King of Pentacles. Wow, we have the King of Wands and the King of Pentacles. And Page of Cups. I love it. Okay. Pile number 2. Your first impressions of them. So what you're feeling, what you are noticing. I think there's a lot of just comfort here, where it just feels like I'm comfortable. It feels like I've known you forever. It feels like I am exactly where I'm meant to be. I also think there's a feeling of like just the attraction is there, but also I feel like I hit the lottery, right? Like, wow, okay, wow, you're, for some of you, if like it's the first time that you're seeing them in person, there's definitely, there's definitely this moment of like, you look even better than your pictures. For those of you that have already seen this person, there is like this dress to impress. And I got that earlier of like, this feels like we are done up, and this feels like a nighttime date for this group. So it's there's definitely that, like, I'm noticing how attractive you are. I'm very lucky to be here. I'm excited to be here. I feel like I am in alignment. And there's excitement, right? There's excitement to see what the night is gonna bring, and just excitement to be in the present moment with your date, with your person. But there's like this sweet recognition of, I feel like I know this, I've known this person before, or I feel like I'm already connected to this person, and it's making me comfortable. It's making me lean in and feel fully present in this moment. As far as their first impression, I mean, we have the King of Pentacles, right? Like, the attraction is there. This person is feeling lucky to be there. Like, it's very much matching one another. But I also think your date's first impressions is going to be just like how attractive you are. And I think that they're going to feel confident just by having you around. Like, this feels like, look at the person that I'm with. And there's like a sense of pride that comes with that. And there's a lot of like romantic feelings here on their part, where they're like really excited. I do feel pile number 2 that your person can show up with like flowers, or some sort of small gift for you. Like, it could be flowers, it could be, I'm seeing like a stuffed animal. It could be something that is more meaningful to both of you. Like, if you've talked to this person, and you've mentioned something, for some of you, it could be candy. Like, this person could be showing up with something that they are going to gift to you, that they are going to give to you. Um, as far as what else is here, I do think there's a sense of just, like those butterflies, that like rose colored glasses, that excitement, that romance, that just, the feelings, almost like when you're a teenager and you have like those sweet romantic feelings for someone. That's definitely here on both sides, but especially on their side. I think pile number 2, there's going to be, also almost like this I keep getting like recognition. And for those of you that know who this person is, and this is like a next date, I mean, you are looking great. You are looking fine. The love is there. The emotions are there. Everything is flowing. It's like, I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky to have you. I'm lucky to know you. So regardless of where you are at on the spectrum of whether you know this person or not, that's what's coming through here. And pile number 2, I think for you, there's a recognition that this is somebody who is a spiritual match, who is a soulmate. But you are both like, there's something about both of you being dressed to impress, which is like, I keep getting something about a night date, going out, doing something like, this is, we are in our finest. We're looking good and we're going out. For some of you, it could be dinner, but it does feel like even if it's dinner, there's walking, there's kind of like more to it than just sitting across from someone and having dinner. You're going to stir up this person's feelings. I will say that. Pile number two, like, this person is going to be having a reaction to you, if you know what I mean. All right, let's take a look at mood. So, what's the overall vibe of the date? Stop. We have the Two of Wands and the Two of Wands. That's funny. Love it when that happens. And the Hermit. This is a nighttime date. But as far as overall mood, I really do feel like this is more intimate. There is a lot of fun here. There's a lot of like almost adventure and excitement, but this feels more intimate. Where it's not so much outwardly focused, it's very just intimate, like we're having dinner. If this is like dinner, it's like at a nicely lit restaurant. If this is we're just walking around, it's like we're holding hands and we're walking around. I will say I do think for this group, you are both going to kind of make moves of just like bumping into one another. And like there's something about wanting to physically touch where you may be kind of seeking that permission and being a bit coy about it, or I think they may be, if I'm honest. Where it's like, oh, like I bumped into you, and then they're like placing their hand on your back or like holding your hand, or it's nothing creepy. Pile number two, it's really sweet actually, but I do think physical touch is coming up here. But the overall mood for this date is stepping out of the comfort zone, doing something that is kind of completely different than what you would usually do. And I think for some of you, this person is just going to wine and dine you. Like that's the vibe that's coming through here. And there's going to be different things to do and different possibilities of how the night is going to go, how the evening is going to go. But this feels like a dream come true. And it feels very intimate in the sense of we are spending time with one another and we are kind of just holding, creating this space for one another where we can communicate, we can kind of gaze into each other's eyes. This to me feels like a night date, like traditional in some ways, but also like different in other ways, because it's like there's additional things. It could be like we went to dinner and it was at like very nice restaurant, and then we're gonna go to the bar, or then we're gonna go dancing, or then we're gonna go somewhere else. But it's like you two are the only two people because it feels like everybody else melts away because the focus is each other, which is very sweet. Let's look at the conversation. So what will you talk about or connect over? King of Swords, Queen of Swords. For some of you, this is a divine counterpart, and Two of Cups. Okay. For some of you, this is definitely a divine counterpart. I do want to say pile number two, this is somebody that is going to get you and you are going to get them. So this is almost like we finish each other's sentences types of vibes of like you're talking and there's a lot that you have in common. There's a lot that maybe other people don't necessarily understand or get about you that this person is going to just get, or they're going to understand. This person is going to help you feel seen. And not only are they going to make you feel seen, you're going to do that for them as well. So this is the type of date where everybody else just disappears because it's me and it's you, and I am fully present. I am just captivated, right? And they are captivated by you. When it comes to conversations, I do think things for this group are going to get deep. I do think there's going to be just who makes me who I am and what makes you who you are, and let's get to talk. I don't necessarily think there's going to be too much talk for this group of like, do you want to get married? Do you want children? Like some of that may come up, but it feels like it's more focused on just what are my interests? What are your interests? What am I working on? What are you working on? What have you been through? Like, it just feels like the topics are just flowing and they're very deep. And it's about building a heart connection, a soul connection. This isn't like the typical date questions that come up. This is just allowing things to unfold. Um, your date is going to be mesmerized. Pile number two, like I'm seeing the eyes, like somebody just like gazing into like my eyes. So to me, that's like your person just gazing into your eyes, and like you're going to be able to tell that this person is into what you're saying and this person is very interested in you. I think there's also going to be a lot of just like this or that, or like hypothetical questions, or like if you could live anywhere, where would you live? It's like that type of question. It's not like the traditional date questions. It's more, it's like deeper than that. And you may hit on some of those points, but not because you're going through the list. Let's take a look at emotional undercurrent. So, what's building underneath the surface? And this could be for one or both of you. The Devil card, I'm not supposed, we're going to talk about that. The Queen of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles. So, first and foremost, with the Devil card, pile number two, the attraction between you and this person is off the wall. The physical attraction, the chemistry, the just I see what I like and I want you energy is completely all over this connection. And I think as the date goes by, there's a lot of just like, I am just really turned on by this person. And I think that's the case for both of you. Especially for your date, for your person. Like they're going to be very much just fully on, and I can't say too much. You know what I mean. It's YouTube. We gotta keep it G-rated here. But this person is really like turned on, and I think that's gonna be part of what's happening underneath the surface. Like they don't want to say that necessarily. They don't want to be rude or crass or just cross a line. And for those of you where this is somebody that you already know and it's like your next date with this person, they can't wait to get you back home. That's the vibe here. Like they can't wait to get you back home. Even if this is a first date, like this person may be at times like imagining what it's like to kiss you, what it's like to be with you, what it's like to be intimate with you. Pile number two, like they are fully in. And I also think there's like that sweetness of feeling developing. I personally wouldn't necessarily say like love at first sight, because I don't know that I personally believe in love at first sight, but I think some could absolutely like describe this as like a love at first sight type of feeling. But at the very least, like there's definitely that interest and that like growing emotional connection that's there throughout the date, that keeps coming up and kind of coming up to the forefront. And I also think there's a level of just excitement for what's to come that builds as the date goes by, as the date unfolds. It's like, oh, I can't wait to see what else is going to come from this. And there may be a level of daydreaming of like, this could be my person, which if you're listening to this is either your first or next date with your future spouse. So it probably is your person. All right, let's take a look at what is a memorable moment. So, one special thing that you'll remember about this date, we have the star. Wow. And this is the third Two of Wands. One thing that I think when you look back on this date that you're going to remember is I think you're going to be grateful for allowing yourself to take a chance. I think for some of you, take this if it resonates. The person may not be like, there's almost this like, maybe this wouldn't be your usual type, but you step out of your comfort zone. Or maybe it's, there was some fears and you didn't want to get hurt, but you decided to take a chance. There's something about this date and something about this person that requires you to step out of your comfort zone in order to allow this to unfold. And I think that when you look back at this, there's almost this sense of thank God I did that. Like, thank goodness I allowed myself to explore and to try this new thing. I also think there's something very intimate and dreamy about this date in general. So when you look back at it, it's almost like the nostalgia and almost like romanticizing the night. Where this is the type of date that as you describe it, like people may be looking at you like, stop it, you're making this up. Like there's no way it was that perfect. Like this could be a date where there's like fireworks going off. Quite literally, like there could be quite literally fireworks that go off that add to the magic of this date. So when you look back at this, there's a lot of like romantic just feelings, but also like a romantic energy to the date itself that you are going to remember. And I also think that it's almost going to feel like almost like a miracle of just that was meant for me. I was meant to experience that, and I'm so glad that I experienced it. That I really think is going to come through. So when you look back at this, it's like that sense of romance and the looks that we gave one another and just the chemistry that we shared. Because it's like electric almost when you're with this person. And for those of you where this is a next date, it just feels magical. It just feels like one of those dates where everything feels aligned and everything feels like it went perfect. Like this just feels like a very good date, whether it's a first one or a next one, for those of you who know who this person is. But if you know who this person is, pile number 2, drop it in the comments. Let the people that don't know who this is know all about this, because I think that for some that picked pile number 2, you may not even believe that this is actually possible. Let's take a look at a potential challenge or awkward moment. And I picked this cards out because I want to be realistic and also help you prepare. But if I'm honest, I don't know what could possibly come up for this group because this is very sweet. The Ace of Wands. Wow, Ace of Wands and Ace of Pentacles as far as like the potential. Stop it. Okay. Pile number 2, I just got the answer with that Ace of Wands. Look at the picture, you'll know what I'm seeing. But for some of you, especially if you are on a date with a man, there may be a moment where there are some things that get awkward because there may be a very natural reaction that can be a bit awkward and embarrassing. Take that if you will. Again, I don't feel anything disrespectful. I don't feel anything that is out of line. Ace of Wands is there. We're just going to see that and acknowledge it, and we accept, we don't judge. But that's one of the things that can be kind of a bit of an awkward moment. There's something about your hands, pile number 2, that may drive this person crazy. Like I'm kind of seeing like somebody just rubbing Could be like a leg or like the arm. Some things could happen. Take that only if it resonates. But I also think that a potential challenge could be some like self doubts or like a sense of don't let yourself get in your own head. Pile number 2. That's the message here. Don't get in your own way. Don't get in your own head and don't self-sabotage. Be present, be fully present, enjoy the present moment. That's all I'm seeing for this group. This is a very sweet group. I really enjoy this. Let's look at the outcome. So, feelings at the end of the date. What are the feelings going to be at the end of the date? We have the magician. Yeah, that sense of like creation and hope and faith and we're going to create something great or there's potential here. Strength and pile number 2. Pile number 2. Listen, do what you gotta do. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But I think at the end of the day, again, there's a lot of desire here. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of chemistry. There's a lot of just being turned on. Honestly, hopefully YouTube doesn't have a problem with that wording. But it's like just we just want to connect. We just want to be together. We don't want this to end. But I think as far as feelings, there is that sense of, first and foremost, I think you're going to be feeling pretty calm and pretty confident. This doesn't feel like one of those dates where it ends and you're just like, I don't know if this person is ever going to contact me again, or I don't know if I'm ever going to see this person again, or I couldn't really read how they were feeling. Pile number 2, you're going to read how this person is feeling. You are going to feel how this person is feeling. It's going to be quite obvious that they are completely into you. I also think that they are going to very clearly communicate that they are very interested and kind of hint at the second date, if not plan it. But I also think there's a sense of just excitement for what's to come. I keep cracking up because with this group, I'm getting like all of these very interesting messages that I cannot say on YouTube because YouTube wants to not talk about certain things. But there's a lot of that, if you know what I mean. But I think there's just again this excitement about what can be created between the two of you. And for those of you that know this person and you're going home with this person, it's gonna be a good night. It's gonna be a good night. That's all I'll say to that. Let's take a look at what else we have. So this is just kind of additional information. Past life love, your soul remembers this intense connection. And pile number 2, boy, oh boy, it's going to be intense. For those of you who know who this could be reconnecting. But I think regardless of what your specific situation is, this is speaking to just knowing who this is, being familiar with this person and having a past life connection with this person and this person being a soulmate, some of you a divine counterpart. And then we have longing, someone is secretly yearning for you. Yeah. Pile number 2, yeah. I mean, you did pick these two. You did pick Gomez and Morticia. And listen, I intuitively pick the cards that I'm going to place on top of each pile. And it worked. This is the pile. This is the Gomez and Morticia pile, right? This is hot and heavy. But let's see. I have a song for you, and then we're going to get into the dice. But this is a song that can have a message for you or just a general song. And we have the strength card, which we had right there. So this is the second time it's showing up. I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. That could be a song that has a message for you. A powerful ballad that speaks to the strength of love and the courage it takes to let go. And that's the vibe. I Will Always Love You is the vibe. Pile number 2. But let's try to get some additional information. So I am going to use dice that's going to give us more information. So first and foremost, we're going to look at, and I'm going to roll each one twice. So first and foremost, the type of um, meal. So cook a new recipe. This could also be like going out and like taking like a little bit of like a cooking class together, or like going to like a place where food like hibachi or something like that. Though I feel like this feels like finer dining than that. And then snack session. So this could be you are both going out and kind of getting snacks and afterwards, because I do think this could be a level of like we went out, we had the fine dining, we had the dinner, and now we are moving on to other things. Let's take a look at like play. So this could be like date activities. And we have, what did I say? I feel like I said that for this group, dance together. This feels like a nighttime date. I said that a lot for this group, but it's true. Watch a nostalgic movie. So this could also speak to just going out and why am I getting like a drive-in? Are those still a thing? If somebody out there has a drive-in movie theater, just know that I'm jealous. In a good way, but I'm jealous. And then this is what could be shared, today's highs and lows, so you can talk about what's going on for your day. Oh, wow, that came up twice. So we're going to honor that. And then let's see what we get here. So give massages. There's definitely touch going on here for this group. Yeah, tune into touch. There's a lot of touch. Whether it's like holding hands or just kind of like brushing up against each other. There's something about like wanting to touch one another. Pile number 2. Claim it. I'm coming up with your affirmation right now. I welcome in passionate love. I welcome in passionate love. Because this is what this is, passionate. Pile number 2, thank you for allowing me to read for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the things that YouTube loves that help me out so much and the channel out. Share the video if you think it's worth sharing. Let me know what else you'd like to see next. Stay tuned. The Bridgerton reading is next. The Bridgerton themed pick a card reading is next. But yeah, thank you for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and we will talk soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you are drawn to the Lover's card from the Eras Tour Taylor's version tarot deck. As a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown for this reading. I highly suggest you check that out because it's going to let you know exactly what will be covered and what we are going to be talking about during this reading. It is time-stamped below. So to get started, we are going to look at your energy and the energy of your future spouse and your date. So let's get started. So for person number 1, we have the bear, the bee, and joy. Okay. That's very beautiful energy, especially with the bee and joy. Okay, we'll talk about it. For person number 2, we have the owl, the butterfly, and confidence. Okay. There's a lot of mirroring happening here. So my intention with this is that you, my viewer, are on the left and your person is on the right. That being said, sometimes it can happen that the energies are flip-flopped, so you could be here and your person could be here. But if this doesn't sound like you and this doesn't sound like you, this is probably not your pile. So try choosing a different pile. All right, so pile number 3. Let's talk about this we're going to start with the bear person. So who this person is, first and foremost, I do want to take some time to say that there's a lot that these two have in common. And I also think these are two people that are very loving, very nurturing, very caring coming together. And I also think that both of these people are very spiritual. But when it comes to the bear person, this is somebody who is very focused on self improvement and growth. And I also think that the bear person is somebody who is constantly seeking not only ways to improve themselves, but also ways to improve their experiences and their surroundings. And I think that this bear person is someone who has gone through multiple different awakenings. And through their awakenings, they have found a lot of deep truths about themselves and who they are, and also their spiritual journey. This is somebody who operates from the divine masculine. Actually, divine feminine. I don't know why I said masculine, but divine feminine. I was looking at this person when I said masculine. But the bear person is somebody who operates from the divine masculine. You know what? I keep wanting to say feminine, but the divine masculine wants to come through. So we'll honor that. But honestly, the bear is more divine feminine energy. But I do think this bear person is someone who has gone through a lot of personal transformation, but also spiritual transformation. I do think this person is a bit more introverted, though I think both of these people can be introverted, but when the time is right or when they have to be, they can be quite extroverted as well. With the bear person here, this is somebody who is very strong. There's a lot of internal strength here. And I also think that this is somebody who is very good at looking at best case scenario and allowing themselves to kind of be hopeful and optimistic for the future. This bear person is very nurturing. If this is somebody who is a parent, this is like mama bear energy, regardless of if you are male or female. This is very like mother bear. I am very protective. I am very nurturing type of energy coming through for this bear person. And I do think that when it comes to the bear person, this is somebody who goes through seasons of sometimes they have a lot of energy, at other times they're completely drained. And I think this bear person has a very strong connection to nature, moon cycles, and just seasons and cycles in general, and that this person has very defined cycles that they kind of they deal with. And I just realized I forgot to mention the zodiac signs, but for the bear, we have Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn being represented. With the bee, we have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and with joy, we have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy represented. But this bear person is very hardworking. This is somebody who is not afraid to work hard, to put in the effort for what it is that they want. And I will say, for some, the bear person can have a little bit of like a workaholic personality. Though I also think that this is somebody who really seeks out to experience what life has to offer. And I think that this is somebody who keeps themselves very active. This could also be the case when it comes to like exercise and physical, just, I guess, physical self care, or physical, like physically taking care of their body, and the way that they keep their body moving. And I really think for most, this person exercises, or like there's something about keeping active that's coming up here. For this bear person, there's something very vibrant about their energy. There's something very bright about their energy. I would not be surprised if this person has like a yellowish or a greenish aura to them. There's something also about this person that they come across as very wise, and they are very wise. And this bear person is very good at getting to the bottom of things. Like, this is somebody who is very good at kind of doing research and understanding certain topics and understanding certain things as they are happening. This bear person is also very creative. This feels like somebody who has, for the most part, for most of you, if you are the bear, it's like you have a creative outlet. You have something that you do for self expression. You have something that you do to kind of expel out energy. And for some, that has to do with body movement of some sort. This could be yoga as well, that's coming through for this bear person here. But the bear person is also very sensitive. And I think that the bear person is very good at putting on a facade, especially when they are feeling vulnerable and when they don't want to be seen. Um, Not only, this is almost like being seen in a vulnerable state. This person is very good at like playing things off. I would not be surprised if this bear person has almost like this sense of humor that serves as a protective mechanism. But I also think that the bear person has at times struggled with overworking and kind of burning themselves out. So, one thing for the bear person, it's very important that they kind of take care of their body, but also of their energy levels because they can kind of get really um, burnt out really quickly. And I think that the bear person has a very clear vision of what they would like to happen in the future. And that vision keeps this person going. This is somebody that no matter what they're going through, they're going to try to make things better for other people. They're going to try to make other people smile and other people make sure other people are having a good time. For some, it's coming through that this bear person can be a very good cook, or there's something about something that they prepare with their hands. This bear person could be like a foodie that's coming through. And I also think that this bear person, I touched upon this already, but this bear person goes through a lot of transformations, a lot of just like complete transformation where they are ending one cycle and beginning a complete new one. And I think at times that can be overwhelming for this person. Winter is a season, let me put it this way. If you are the bear person, it could be that you struggle with seasonal affective disorder where winter time can be harder and like spring summer is easier for you and easier on your overall well-being. Movement is something that is very important to the bear person, and I think that for this person's well-being, making sure that they have some sort of movement routine or stretching or like walking, anything that gets the body moving. And this person needs to be mindful of withdrawing and kind of keeping themselves separate from others, because at times of stress, I think this is somebody who tends to withdraw. But let's talk about the owl person. And with the owl and the butterfly, we have air energy, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. With the confidence card, we have fire energy, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But let's talk about who this owl person is because this is somebody who is very clairvoyant and someone who does operate. You know what's interesting? I was going to say divine feminine, and I kept saying divine masculine. And I think this person is actually the one that operates under the divine feminine, though I do think both of these people are quite balanced in their approach in how they show up in the world. But this owl person is very clairvoyant, and this is somebody who is very wise. And I think this person is a bit introverted. They kind of keep to themselves. This is somebody who is very observant as well. And I think this owl person, there's something about them that is very captivating, very inviting, and something about them that almost comes across as mysterious. This person has very deep, beautiful eyes. Like there's something about the way that they look at you, something about the way that they really have eye contact with people, and something about their eyes in general is coming through as very powerful for this owl person. And this owl person is somebody who is able to create abundance quite easily. I think for most, the owl person is going to be somebody who is financially well off and financially blessed. And this could be somebody who's like a homeowner, somebody who has a very established career, somebody who owns their own business, somebody who is like a combination of those things where they maybe like have their own side gig, but they also have an established career. This is somebody who is very focused on expansion. And I think that this is somebody who financial wealth is very meaningful to them. But this is also somebody who is very generous, not only with their resources, but I think that this is somebody who's very generous with their love and attention, especially once they have connected with you and once they have established that, you are important to them. So the people that are important to the owl person, they are getting the attention that they need. And this is somebody who has a love language that includes like gift giving. Like this is somebody who would show up and get you a little knickknack because they were thinking of you. Or this is somebody who really wants to show their appreciation by like treating you to like um a spa day. There's something very giving, very loving about this owl person, and they really like to take care of their person and come through and kind of spoil them in that way. And another thing about the owl person is that there's something very joyful about both of these people, and there's something just very calming about both of these people. And I will say, these two go through a level of transformation often. How that shows up in their lives is, I think, slightly different because I think the bear person has a lot more of like spiritual internal transformation, where it feels like the owl person goes through more of that external transformation where they may move, they may kind of change careers, it feels like it shows up externally in their world. And I will also say, for the owl person, one thing about them is that friendship and connections and the people that they are connected to means so much to them. So they make it a point to really create time and be intentional about their relationships, where this is somebody who is going to call, this is somebody who is going to check in, this is someone who's going to say, hey, we haven't met up in a while, let's meet up. Like this person shows up for their friendships, and they really prioritize those connections that mean the most to them. And I also think that this is somebody who really does enjoy having almost like a daily routine of like they may wake up at the same time, they may try to go to sleep at the same time, they may enjoy having a very set work schedule that's coming through as well. And I think that one thing that the owl person prioritizes as well is self-care and mental health, because I do think at times for the owl person they kind of deal with the heaviness of the world around them, and they know to be on the lookout for that and to take care of themselves. And we do have the confidence card for this person, and I do think this is somebody who is very confident in themselves and somebody who loves themselves and somebody who has grown to kind of become very comfortable in their own skin. But I think the owl person did that through a lot of hard work and effort. And this is part of the reason why they make it such a priority to not only connect with others, but connect with themselves as well. And I think that one thing that the owl person has learned is that when they are feeling frustrated it's time to kind of channel that energy into something else. And for some, different things for different people, but for some, it's body movement. That's how they channel their energy. I think for both of these, it's like some level of body movement, some level of like working out or getting their movement in, their stretches in. It could be yoga, it could be walking, it could be going to the gym is very important. And I think that they are both very aware of that being very important for them. Both of their solar plexus, like for the bear and for the owl, both of their solar plexus are very much active. And I also think that when these two connect, the solar plexus and the sacral chakras are going to be very important. Obviously, the heart chakra as well. But I also think that there's something that the color yellow is coming up as very significant for this pile. For some, it could be that like you really love the color yellow. For others, it's like you have a yellowish aura. But the color yellow is really standing out here as well. For some of you, it's like an orangey yellowish aura. Let's take a look at the setting of the date. So this is kind of where does the date happen or what's the atmosphere. We have the Hermit card, the Eight of Wands, and then we have the Page of Cups. Okay, so pile number 3. When it comes to like where your date is happening or the atmosphere, I feel like for this group, this is in a more intimate setting. This feels like there's not that many people around. For some of you, you are meeting, like you are going out and there's like privacy. Like maybe you're going out somewhere, but there aren't too many people around. Or maybe you decide to like take a class or do an activity, but it feels like there's a level of privacy and a level of you connecting to one another and in a very intimate setting. For some of you, this very well could be we are connecting and we are like meeting up at like your place or my place. I don't think that's the case for everyone, but that is a possibility, especially for those of you where this is a next date and not a first date. That's coming through as well. But when it comes to the atmosphere, it's very like quiet, intimate, just me and you. I'm not getting like loud music. I'm not getting too much of like loud people being around. It just feels like it's me and you and what we're doing. It's just us. For some of you, this could be like being out in nature, going out for a hike. This could be I'm seeing a kayak for someone. Take that if it resonates. This could also be like we're just gonna go to a museum. We're going to go to kind of tour a historical site. We're going to go to this like little spot that no one knows about if it's like a restaurant. But it feels very intimate. It feels very nice and quiet, and there's also a level of romance to this, to the place itself, to what you are doing. For some of you, you could be going to like a beach, a lake, some sort of body of water where you are spending time with this person. Someone could be going to like a spa. Ooh, pile number 3. Do you get a spa date as a first date or as a next date? If so, I am so jealous. I need a spa day. But it feels like it's very low key. Oh, I'm seeing a picnic. Somebody may be doing a picnic in the park, or somebody may be doing, I'm also seeing like drawing, but like there's grass. So it's like out in nature. The overall atmosphere for this is like very intimate, very just that potential to really connect. And it doesn't feel like there's too many people around. For some of you, this person is taking you. It could be you taking them or they're taking you, but it's like I'm showing you this like very intimate place that means something to me. That's coming through as well. For some of you, this is also going to be a surprise. Like this could be a I'm taking you for a surprise and I want to surprise you with where we are going. And there's a level of you not knowing exactly what it is that you are going to do with this person or like where the date is going to take you. There's something that also feels a bit like unexpected or just like we are going to split decision decide where we are going and what we're going to do, but it's very intimate. It's just you two were focused on one another and it feels like there's not too much like going on around you, and even activity wise I'm not feeling like too much happening on this date where it's like this isn't the date where you're going to go skydiving. This isn't the date where you're going to go on like this big adventure. This feels low key. All right, pile number 3. Let's look at your first impression and their first impression. So, when you see them, what is your first impression of them? We have the 4 of Cups. We have the Devil card. We have the Page of Pentacles. And let's take a look at their first impression when they see you. Ace of Pentacles. The Hierophant. And the King of Swords. All right, let's talk about it. Pile number 3. So your first impression of them is very interesting because we have the 4 of Cups. And I think there's a level, when we talk about the 4 of Cups, it can speak to just apathy and that sort of energy. But I also think that this is speaking to kind of, first and foremost, I actually want to kind of back up here a bit. Because I don't necessarily think that pile number 3, you want to allow yourself to get too excited about this for whatever reason, whether it's past experiences, whether it's you're just not sure. For whatever reason, there's a level of I don't want to get too excited about this. But I also think that this person is going to bring in a level of excitement into your life, even though it's not what you are necessarily looking for or wanting to experience. But with the 4 of Cups, the Devil card, and the Page of Pentacles being here, you are going to be very physically attracted to this person. Like, you're going to find them very attractive. You're going to feel the connection. The physical connection is going to be there. And I also think that with this energy being here, it's like there's curiosity, but there's also a level of let me be realistic. Let me kind of hold myself back. Again, for some of you, this could just be due to past experiences. I'm not trying to get too excited. I'm not trying to like jump into something and it's a first date. I don't want to act like this is going to be my soulmate and the person I end up with. Spoiler alert, you are listening to, the first date or the next date with your future spouse. So that's probably what's going to happen when you meet and connect and go on this date with this person. But there is a level of trepidation here of just, I want to hold back a bit and I don't want to be super excited. And I'm trying to kind of keep myself centered and grounded and kind of really be very mindful of how I approach this instead of jumping all the way in. Because the first impression is I really like this person. I'm really attracted to this person. I'm excited, but also let me kind of hold myself a bit back. Let me be prudent and I'm open to it, but I want to be practical about it. That's kind of the energy here and how you are approaching this. And it's almost like the excitement is there, but you're mentally kind of talking yourself through and really almost curbing a lot of what's coming up. And I think there's a level of this that seems like a little bit of a self-preservation or self-defense mechanism. Now, when it comes to your person's first impression of you, so when they first see you, what's the what do they notice or feel? I also think that what you're going to notice about this person is that they're very attractive. So for some of you, if you are meeting them and like you connected with them online or it's a blind date, there's like, oh, okay, like you're maybe even more attractive than what I initially thought. And I forgot to mention this, but for those of you that are going on a next date where you already know this person, um, it could be that leading up to this date, there was like some sort of disagreement or argument, but the attraction is there and like you want to have a good time and you want to move forward. Now, when it comes to their first impression and what they're going to notice, what they're going to feel, they're very excited about this. They're also kind of hesitant. Like, this feels like two people that are trying to be practical and realistic and not jump into anything immediately or not like try to force anything immediately. So there's a level of just let me be mindful. But I also think that their first impression of you is they're going to kind of feel this connection of this feels right. This could be a soulmate. This could be somebody that I am meant to connect with. And I do think they're going to kind of look at you and like physically speaking, what they're seeing, what they're getting to know about you, there's a level of like, this could be my spouse. This could be my person. This could be the person that I build a life with. But I also think that your person is going to be overthinking a bit, kind of just like overthinking their not only their first impressions but like overthinking where they're at and have a lot come up for them. So there could be some nerves, there could be like some overthinking, overanalyzing, just like trying to make sure they're doing everything right. I do think your person is really going to want to impress you, so they're going to kind of want to put their best foot forward, and it's going to kind of put pressure on them throughout the date. But that's not a bad thing, right? Like everyone should put their best foot forward. And I will also say I think that part of what their first impression is going to be is like, this person is a match for me intellectually. I don't know, pile number 3, if you're going to go into this date and like say something that's like very witty, very sarcastic. There's something here that like very early on it's like, oh, okay, I'm intrigued. I want to know more. So this is very sweet. All right, let's take a look at the mood. What's the overall vibe? Like, what's the mood? What's the vibe of this date? Justice. 4 of Wands. Wow. For some of you, this person is going to be a divine counterpart. This person is going to be a twin flame, like a high level soulmate. But the overall vibe for this date feels pretty chill. It feels like we are exactly where we're meant to be. Like, it's comfortable. We're doing what we're meant to be doing. We're flowing. We're going with the flow, and we're having a good time. But again, this feels much more intimate and like a more intimate setting. But with this justice card being here, this almost feels like this is my good karma. This is what I've earned. This is what I get for doing the work. And I'm almost wondering if for some of you, there's almost like you take a break in dating, or this person has taken a break. And when you connect, it's like we are connecting and going on a date after a long period of not dating anyone. Or for those of you where this is a next date, is it there could be a we're connecting and going on a date and this person and I have not seen each other in a while, or we were in a period of separation, or we're reconnecting in some way, because the overall vibe is just very easygoing, and it just feels like this is exactly where I'm meant to be. It feels like I've reached a milestone of sorts, and it's very prosperous, but it's very intimate as well. Like there's a lot of connection. The overall vibe is we are connected, and the focus is on our connection and on us connecting deeper and going to the next level. For those of you who already know who this is, and this is you, like your next date with them, not like your first date with them, this is this definitely feels like we've cleared something out. Like we're kind of clearing the slate and starting something new here, or this is like an opportunity to clear the air. So we're going to look at the conversation. What will you talk about or connect over? The Knight of Wands, Judgment. Yeah, this is a deep Ace of Pentacles. So this is one of those dates where I think you're going to kind of go through a lot of the basics. So what do you want? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What do you want to build? What is your definition of love? What is your idea of a family? What does that look like to you? What is your relationship with your family? What is your relationship with religion or spirituality? It feels like we're gonna talk about all the things. I do think it's fun when you're talking about it, but I do also feel like this is a date and a connection where you are kind of hitting on those deep things and making it a point to bring up the future and where you're going. Like this is very intentional about I want to know who you are and where you are headed, and if our paths are going to align on our way there. This doesn't feel like we're just going to talk about anything or kind of be very go with the flow, because I do think it's gonna kind of flow well, but I also think it's very intentional and very like um clear cut questions that get to the point. But I also think this is going to go a little bit deeper as well, as to like as you talk about what you both want. It's not just like, yeah, I want to get married and I want kids. It's like I want to get married and I want to live at X, Y, and Z, and I see myself having children and I see myself raising them in X, Y, and Z way. So it does feel like it allows for both of you to get to know one another. And I do think there's a deeper conversation that happens as well, as to like, you know, let me tell you more about myself, my reason why I wake up every morning, the things that I'm passionate about, and there's a mutual sharing of that information. I think a big thing that you're going to connect over is just what lights up your world for both of you. And I think there's going to be similarities to that. I also think there's going to be a lot of similarities and a lot of alignment as far as what you both want for the future and what you both want going forward. For some, you could, if you have like a pet, I don't know why the dog is standing out to me. If you have a pet, it could be that you talk a lot about like your animal. For some of you, like if you have a pet dog or a cat, bunny, guinea pig, whatever it is that you have, like it can be that you talk a lot about your pet. For those of you that maybe have children, it could be about the kids, but it's like you're just talking about what you love and who you love and how you see your life going and moving forward. I do think for this group, you're going to touch on like, this is what I've learned and these are my boundaries. But it doesn't feel like you spend too much time on that. Like, it's not going to be that's the main goal, or that's the main topic. But I do think it's going to touch upon like, this is what I've learned in the past. And these are the boundaries. This is where these are the deal breakers. Um, but let's take a look at what is the emotional undercurrent here. So Pile number three, like what's building underneath the surface? What's coming up underneath the surface? The Hierophant. Did we have that card come up? I swear I saw that card. Yes, we did. Okay. So that's a repeat energy. The Eight of Wands. Definitely had that card before, right there. And Ace of Wands. I love this because what's going to be building up here is the excitement. What's going to be building up here is, especially because for this group, there was like that level of just nerves and even like the first impressions being kind of like hesitant at first. I absolutely love that the undercurrent for this is like, this is getting exciting. I'm seeing what's possible here and I'm liking it. And I'm seeing a path forward and I'm seeing a way that this can kind of potentially grow into something more. Because I do feel for you, pile number three. And it could be your person, it could be both of you. If I had to put money on it, I would say both of you. There is a level of, I don't want to get excited because I don't want to get my heart broken. And I think there's a realization as this date goes on that's almost like, you know what? I can get excited about this. This does seem like it would be a wonderful opportunity for me. This does seem like it's something that can go somewhere. This doesn't feel like other dates or previous situations where I didn't necessarily get excited, get what I wanted, or it didn't pan out in the way that I wanted to. And I think for those of you where this is a next date and this is happening, like this is a significant date because things haven't been flowing right, there's almost like this reconnection and rekindling where you both feel more confident and you can both kind of feel the connection, especially if you've been feeling like the connection hasn't been as strong or the passion isn't there or the romance isn't there. This feels like a date where it allows for the rekindling of that, like the fire to kind of start back up and start burning brightly again. Pile number three, let's take a look at the memorable moments. So, this is just, one special thing that you'll remember about this date. We have the Eight of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. This feels like the memorable moment for this date is going to be just like the date itself and the gestures and the connection. But I also think that when you look back and you remember this date, I think it's the whole date that you're going to remember as almost like the opportunity to start something new. Like that's when me and so were able to start something new. That's when it felt like my life was kind of going in a different direction. I also think that when it comes to memorable moments, for this group specifically, it's almost like I remember being present and I remember being fully there in that moment and just having a good time. And I think that sometimes for this group that could be maybe difficult where it's, I wasn't so stressed out that I wasn't able to enjoy myself. On the contrary, I was like fully present in the moment and fully connected to the person that was with me. And again, there's that like sense of it was an opportunity for my life to change and for something new to begin. And I think for many of you, what the change is the new relationship, the new connection that you enter in with your person. For some of you, you're also going to remember something that is shared with you, like a story that this person tells you, or something that you share with them, but it's like their reaction. It's either they're saying something to you that is very memorable, or you share something with them and their reaction to it is very memorable. I also feel like for this date, it's gonna feel like time stops. Like you are like there's a suspense of time of just time has stopped and it's just me and you here in the now, which is absolutely beautiful. Let's take a look at the potential challenge or if there's an awkward moment here. The King of Cups and the Nine of Swords. Yeah. I think there's anxiety during this date. And I think part of it has to do with just it could just be that it's two people that are more on the anxious side or kind of tend to overthink more. But I think it's just, a big thing for this group is be kind to yourself and don't be hard on yourself. Like, you don't have to say exactly the perfect thing or behave in the expected way or in the perfect way is a big message here. And I also think a challenge because we have the King of Cups and the Nine of Swords. There's almost this challenge where, especially for you, my viewer, because this is who I'm talking to, but it could be both of you, where it feels so overwhelming, or there could be this sense of, I just want to protect myself, especially at the beginning. Like, I feel like this would be at the beginning of the date where I'm not really showing up and being my full self, or I'm not allowing myself to just be present in this present moment. Like I'm withdrawing, I'm not fully here. And for some of you, it could be like I'm kind of nervous, so I don't want to go. Maybe I should reschedule, or maybe I should cancel. But I think that it's just more of a challenge for this group of just being able to be present and being able to ground yourself and allow that anxiety and that self-doubt for some of you to kind of pass through you and not dictate the outcome of this, and not allowing the stories or the beliefs around love to keep you from playing, right? To keep you from entering the love scene or from dating. Let's see what the outcome is. So, when it comes to what are the feelings at the end of this date, the King of Wands, I love that. Drop that. The Six of Swords, let me grab this one. And the Knight of Pentacles. So, again, I think at the end of this date, you're more excited than what you were going into the date because it's not like that looming or scary thing, or it's like, I went through it and it turned out okay. I really like this person. I think there's opportunity here. And I also think it's still that level of keep yourself grounded, right? It's almost like I'm excited, but I'm also trying to keep myself grounded. And it's also, I feel like for this group, it's like a big celebration. And this is why I feel like for some of you, you haven't been dating when you go out on this date. Like you may not be somebody who just like has been on many dates around the time that you meet with this person for this date, because it almost feels like it's like a big moment, a big like, oh, I did that. Okay. That feels good. Now I feel better about it. So I'm almost wondering if for some of you, it's like you haven't been dating at all, or you have kind of just been focusing on yourself and doing your own thing. So kind of going back into the dating scene feels very like a very momentous moment of just like, oh, I got to do this. All right, I did this. Now it feels good. But I think overall you feel good, you feel hopeful, but you're still trying to take it slow. You're trying to take it one step at a time. But you're hopeful for what's to come next. And I do think it's like I want to see this person again, and I think pile number 3 there is that, like, if you don't know for sure, you're pretty confident that there will be another date. And of course there will be, because this is your first or next date with your future spouse. But also, pile number three, I think it's like a personal pat on the back of like, I did this, I got here, I'm glad I did, and I can't wait for what's next. And I do think you both mirror one another in like, let's be grounded about this, let's be rational about this. Like, I'm excited, but also I want to take it step by step. I don't think this is a connection where you're going to rush into anything. Let's see what the advice is. Children are important to this partnership. So, pile number three, I do think for this group, it could be that you or this person or both of you are parents, and that's why you're also being extra cautious, right? When there are kids involved, you definitely don't want to bring just anyone around them. I also think that this is speaking to those of you that do want children. There is the possibility that, obviously, if you want them, this is kind of confirming that this could be the person that you have them with, or this is the person that you have them with. And if for those of you that are seeking someone, like, because this feels very intentional when it comes to dating, that could be why this is so intentional, because it's like, I'm ready to settle down, I'm ready to have kids. But also, for some of you, this children's card is talking about inner child work, especially if there are beliefs or kind of expectations that are not the best around love and relationships and marriage and partnership and getting hurt and putting yourself out there and all of those things. That could be something that you are already working on, or kind of something that is going to be coming up for you is inner child work. Then we have leap of faith. It's safe for you to make the move that you're considering. Yeah. So pile number three, absolutely taking a chance and allowing yourself the opportunity to connect is going to be very helpful and very important to getting to this date. And like I said, for this group, I feel like just agreeing and getting to the date and allowing yourself to open yourself up is a big deal. So being kind to yourself as you move through that as well. But for those of you that you haven't met this person and you are ready and you are seeking, allow yourself to be in the spaces that are going to get you connections, whether that is, maybe it's time to join a dating app, or maybe it's time to kind of put the feelers out there and let people know that you're ready to date, or go and do things where single people can be. But pile number three, before we get to the dice, we're going to look at your song, and then we're going to do kind of dice to get more information on this possible date, on this, more information of what's possible on this date. So your song is Waterfalls by TLC, and this is the Temperance card, a song about moderation and seeking balance in life, much like the Temperance card. So this could be a song that you listen to. It could be a song that has a message for you. Take that as it resonates, and let's get started. So I'm going to do the dice. I'm going to do 2 times each, just to get more information. So we have a snack session. So this could be somebody that you go out and kind of get snacks with. I did get like a picnic, and that does to me, and cook a new recipe. So this could also be somebody that you go out and try something new with. Now, when it comes to sharing, talking, today's highs and lows, so you're going to talk about your day. That makes sense. And share a future goal. Absolutely. For this group, I do get that really heavily of like, we're going to focus on what we want, where we're going, and how we're going to get there, but in a fun way. And then it says take a long walk. Yep, that actually checks out with what I've been getting. And create a playlist. So that could be, we are sharing our favorite songs, our favorite things, we're listening to music, but this feels very low key. And then let's see what we have here. Tune into touch. So there could be like hand holding or like touching. and talk dirty. Take that one if it resonates. And for those of you who know who this person is, I really do think that this date feels like an opportunity to reconnect or to like rekindle. Not saying that there's necessarily a separation, but just like spruce things up, if you will. But pile number 3, that is what I have for you. Your affirmation for the week is I leap into love with confidence. I leap into love with confidence because you are ready, pile number 3. Pile number 3, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things that YouTube loves that help me and the channel out so much. I appreciate you. Share the video if you think it's worth sharing. The next video is going to be the Bridgerton themed love reading, so stay tuned for that. Let me know what else you'd like to see next too in the comments, as always. But thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and we will talk soon. Bye for now.